do, 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 do. Hey, kia ora. Helen Brown's here, coming live from Sun City in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic, sparkling day. It's my birthday eve. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1226, bonus bond on birthday eve. Yes. Woo-hoo! So, tomorrow's my birthday. So, but I've been celebrating kind of all week. Actually, today is my birthday in New Zealand because they are a day ahead. So I've already had a text message from my mum to wish me happy birthday. Had a message from my brother to wish me happy. So today is I get to have an extended birthday because it's my birthday in New Zealand where my family is. So they're all wishing me happy birthday. And then it'll be my birthday here tomorrow in the States. So if you want to celebrate your birthday for 48 hours, get some relatives on the other side of the date line. And then you can celebrate for 48 hours. But I am being very good. I have packages still to open, which I didn't know if they were birthday or not. So I have left them to open till tomorrow. I do have to run out tomorrow morning early, as close to 8 o'clock as I can get, because that's when my mail place opens. Because even though I went in on Monday and picked up my packages that were there, they then sent me a note later that afternoon to say I had 5 more packages to pick up that came in that day. And since then I've had more emails saying that I've got more packages sitting there. So I'm going to go get those tomorrow. And I already have my birthday cake. When I did my grocery shopping the other day, I ordered a small chocolate cake. It's only like about this big. But it's plenty. It's enough. It'll last me a few days. And it's been sitting in the refrigerator then. I've been very good about not digging into that. So I'm still trying to decide what to do for dinner tomorrow, whether I'll order something, go out and have something. I don't know. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do for my actual birthday dinner. I know I'm going to have birthday cake. I'm going to have chocolate cake. It's a really yummy chocolate cake too. It's the same one I had last year, which is with the fudge icing, chocolate fudge icing. And I think it also has a layer of fudge in there as well, but it's chocolate. That's all that matters. It's chocolate. It's chocolate. I don't care as long as it's chocolate. But I'm still trying to decide what I'm going to do for my birthday dinner. I have some pork I can cook up, or I may order a meal. I don't know. I haven't decided. Don't really want to go out. I don't really want to go out for dinner because I hate going and sitting in a restaurant by myself to celebrate my birthday. I'd rather sit here with Zeffie and have her sitting right here next to me hoping for tidbits. That would be my ideal birthday, is to have a dinner sitting here. We can put a movie on the computer here, sit here, have dinner. She'll be sitting here next to me looking at my food. Yeah. And but yeah, so tonight it's birthday eve and Timbits. Timbits? You talking about Tim Tams there, Kathy? Kathy's got a message on here. Happy birthday, New Zealand time. Oh, I just remembered your package is a birthday. Well, we've already sorted that out because earlier in the week I told her that there was a package there from her in my packages, and I wasn't going to open it till Friday. She goes, "Oh no, it's not a birthday present. You don't have to do anything." Yeah, right. I open up the box and I see this. Yeah, it's not to do with my birthday at all. No. There's a really cool card inside. I think it's got sparkles, and it says down the bottom, "Believe in the magic of sparkles." Tidbits, 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 not Timbits. Tidbits. Is that I don't know where that comes from, but yeah. So tidbits, Tidbits. It's one word. Tidbits. There's those little leftover bits, the little bits that you pass to the dog or the cat to have. Anyway, so yeah, so we're going to get to open presents tomorrow. Kathy's going to have me laughing so much I'm not going to be able to get through what I need to get through. So I'm looking forward to my birthday tomorrow, having my birthday cake, and I have chocolate ice cream to go with it as well. So I've got the chocolate cake, and I've got, what's it called? Mud fudge. I think it's called mud fudge. It's kind of like a Ben & Jerry's, but it's the store brand. And I had it once before, and it's really good. So I've got chocolate cake and chocolate ice cream to go with my chocolate cake. And I have the real whipped cream in a can, which Zeffie's going to love because her birthday treat is she gets to have a pup cup, a homemade pup cup. So she'll get some of that tomorrow. So looking forward to that. And thankfully, I have my MetaPower stuff with me, so I won't get the sugar rush from everything that I'm eating tomorrow. Because there's a lot of sugar in the cake and the ice cream and all of that. And so if I use the what's it called? MetaPower Assist. That's the one that you have like 20 to 30 minutes before you eat, and it helps the body to process those extra carbs and everything else. So I'm definitely going to be having that tomorrow. Before I have my dinner or whatever it is going to be. It may end up just being chocolate cake and ice cream. I don't know. Although I do have a sourdough loaf, which makes, I don't know what brand of sourdough it is, but it's really good. And I get it from the market on the Instacart thing, and it makes really, really good toasted sandwiches. And I don't put anything on the outside of the bread. I just butter the inside, put either garlic on there, or what did I get the other day? Raspberry and date preserves on there as well. And then I'll put cheese on both sides. Two different flavors, one on each slice of bread. And then I'll put the meat on top, put a bit of spinach on one of them, and then put the two together, stick it in my Foreman grill for 2.5 minutes, cooked to perfection, cheese melted beautifully, yummy flavors. And I get the end of it and go, oh, I could do with another one of those. But then I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not having another one. I wouldn't be able to eat a second one because it's a round loaf, so they've got the big long slices. So I don't know. We'll see. And then so tonight, so tomorrow we'll figure that one out for tomorrow. Maybe I'll do another toasted sandwich. They're kind of yummy. I have one a day. It's my thing. Usually have it for lunch or dinner. I had one for breakfast this morning. Anyway, enough about the food thing. So last night I watched No Time to Die, which of course I cried like I did the first time I watched it. It was actually a really good movie. And I totally forgot that Spectre is sort of like the birth of the Spectre organization that you meet in the earlier James Bond movies that came out, in the 60s and stuff, where they have to deal with Spectre. And so this was kind of like the birth of Spectre. And to have Blofeld be James Bond's foster brother, because his family took in James Bond when he was orphaned by his family for a little bit. From what I can remember, it wasn't the whole time growing up. They were brothers together for a while. So I thought that was kind of an interesting connection to do that with Spectre. And of course, Spectre appears again in this one, and this is the one where they have the nanobites, which are coded to certain DNA strands. And if you've got those nanobites in your body, and you come into contact with somebody who has those DNA strands that the nanobites are programmed for, you will kill them very quickly. And so it was very interesting to watch that and how they did all of that. And of course, he ended up with the DNA of his love that he had in this movie, and her daughter, which turns out to be his daughter. And so, of course, that's why he ended up staying on the island when the missiles came in and getting blown up and everything else. It was so I mean, the love of their lives, their soulmates and everything else. And he's got this little girl, this beautiful little girl, and who he meets when she's like 5. And then he allows himself to be blown up so that he wouldn't harm them. I'm like, that's one of the greatest sacrifices that one could give for another. So it was, it gets a little emotional, that last bit there. So I liked the movie. I just don't like the bit where James Bond gets blown up. Don't like that bit. So tonight I get to do a bonus Bond because, of course, there's Never Say Never Again, which came out in 1983, which was the same year as Octopussy. Oh, I have to go back and remember. Let's see, 1983. Yeah, it was Octopussy. So the same year Octopussy came out, they came out with Never Say Never Again. Never Say Never Again has a lot of controversy about it. Well, actually, Thunderball has the controversy. back in 1965, they brought out the movie Thunderball, and it was actually supposed to be the first James Bond movie. But then there was a lot of legal battles that went on with that movie. And so they ended up releasing it in 1965. And there's this whole legal battle as to who actually owned the rights to the movie and everything else, because they said that when Ian Fleming wrote the book, it was a plagiarism of this play, the screenplay that had been written and everything else. And so it was tied up in courts till like 2006 before it was finally everything was finally settled. I think it was 2006. It was a long time they battled this thing out. But in the meantime, they made the movie Thunderball, and they came out with Thunderball, which was 1965. So that was movie number 4, James Bond movie number 4, and then years later, the guy who actually has like the screenplay rights to it, I think it is. But there was a lot of stuff in that legal thing. Did a remake of it and had Sean Connery come back and play James Bond, and they did a remake called Never Say Never Again. Same kind of storyline, just done in a very different way. And I actually like Never Say Never Again. But you see a Q, but it is not Desmond Llewellyn, because they couldn't use any of the actors who were contracted to Eon Productions for the James Bond series that they were doing. So they had to find different actors to play M, different actors to play Q, Moneypenny, all that sort of stuff. They had to find different actors for all of that sort of things. So I'm looking forward to seeing that again tonight. I haven't seen it in a long time. And so that's my bonus Bond birthday eve celebration. So yeah, it's going to be good. And what else is there? Yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing that one. So it's a similar storyline where nuclear weapons get stolen off a plane. The sister is, it's basically the same storyline, just done in a very different way, in a more modern way. So that'll be really, really cool. And then I was looking through TikTok tonight. This is so funny. Through TikTok tonight, the History Channel actually has a really cool TikTok page, and they bring on all these different things. And they had a commercial for a modern house with the modern gadgets and everything. Press this button and the cabinet drops down. Press this button and slide this panel, and there's your toaster built into the top of the cooker. Press this button and your refrigerator opens. It was actually kind of funny, because something watches and I just start laughing. I started laughing, and because it took me back to a movie that I saw. I would have been about 9 or 10 at the time. The schools were closed because the streets were flooded. We'd had a lot of rain. There was a lot of storms and stuff coming through. We were living in Fielding in New Zealand at the time. And I just remember looking out the window and just seeing rain. All you could see was just sheets of rain coming down. The streets were all flooded, with surface flooding and everything else. And we got to watch TV, which we didn't normally get to watch TV during the day. And they had this 1949 movie on called Ma and Pa Kettle. And if you've never seen Ma and Pa Kettle, they are these farmers. I don't remember much about where they lived, who live in this ramshackle house, kind of like the Beverly Hillbillies, where you live in that shack on the farm type of thing, and then suddenly you're in a ritzy place. Not quite as ritzy as the Ballier Mansion, but so Ma and Pa Kettle with their parcel of children, and I cannot remember how many children that they had, but they had a lot of kids. Pa ends up winning this house for this slogan that he wrote. So he ends up winning this house, which has all these modern gadgets, and like, press this and this happens, press that and that happens. And that's what this TikTok reminded me of, was that movie. And absolutely hilarious. Absolutely love it, because they're not used to modern conveniences. They're used to, you need to cook something, you go out and you light the fire and cook over the fire type of thing. And now all of a sudden you've got these ovens and rotisseries and cooktops, and what the heck are these? Or they cook on a coal range. The coal range or over an open fire? Probably both. But they didn't have a lot of the modern conveniences that this place had, like indoor plumbing being another one. So yeah, really kind of funny. But my question for you guys tonight, and then I'm all over the place, I'm sorry. My question for you guys tonight is, have you seen both Thunderball and Never Say Never Again, and which one do you prefer? Which movie do you prefer? So there's a question for you. Do you prefer Thunderball, or do you prefer Never Say Never Again? Very similar, same kind of storylines, just done in different ways. So which did you prefer, the original or the remake? That's a good question. That'll get some debates going. Anyway, I'm off. I'm going to go make me some dinner and sit down and watch Never Say Never Again. And I do still need to find a copy of where David Niven is James Bond in Casino Royale, which they did as a spy spoof movie back in the 60s, I think it was. So yeah, I'm going to check that out and see if I can find a copy of that, because I have never seen the David Niven James Bond movie. So I think it's time that I cracked open that and went and had a look for that and found that one. And but yeah, we're off for the bonus Bond birthday Eve movie of Never Say Never Again that came out in 1983, the same year that Octopussy came out, which was part of the Eon Productions one. But Never Say Never Again, remake of 1965 Thunderball. So which do you prefer if you have seen both? And with that, I'm out of here. Go have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we look forward to seeing you guys back here tomorrow to come help celebrate my birthday. On tomorrow night's show. What are we going to talk about tomorrow night? I don't know. I'm always open to suggestions. Birthdays. Maybe we'll talk about researching birthdays for genealogy. I don't know. I'll have to think about that one. But go have a super fantastic sparkling evening. We'll catch you guys back here around 6 p.m. tomorrow evening. Hekonara. Do, 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 do.